qualified to serve Nigeria, to know if actually he has what it takes to serve in Nigeria. Because we are saying that we want a change, that we want to change the narrative. Is he the right person to take up that responsibility? When we return from this short break, our guest will be joining us to kind of do justice to this as we go through these issues and more on Elections 2023 here on Atlantic Television Network. Please stay.
The people, the candidates, the party, the campaigns. What really makes an election year? Enough of the rhetorics. It's time for issue-based politics. 2023 elections. Who are the candidates? What do you know about them? Take a seat, relax, and join us for the 2023 elections on Atlantic Television Network, StarTimes, DTH, Channel 194, or ATN Live on Google Play Store and all our social media platforms. Twitter is at Atlantic TV Net. Facebook and YouTube is at Atlantic Television Network. On Instagram is at Atlantic TV Network. Elections 2023 from Mondays to Fridays at 8 p.m. Election 2023. We the people have a stake. The people, the candidates, the party, the campaigns. What really makes an election year? Enough of the rhetorics. It's time for issue-based politics. 2023 elections. Who are the candidates? What do you know about them? Take a seat, relax, and join us for the 2023 elections on Atlantic Television Network, StarTimes, DTH, Channel 194, or ATN Live on Google Play Store and all our social media platforms. Twitter is at Atlantic TV Net. Facebook and YouTube is at Atlantic Television Network. On Instagram is at Atlantic TV Network. Elections 2023 from Mondays to Fridays at 8 p.m. Election 2023. We the people have a stake.
Dear viewer, you're welcome back to the program Elections 2023, talking about the Wednesday's edition. Tonight, as I said before we went on that very short break, that will be concentrating on the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, Professor Peter Nana Chukwudi Umeadi. Of course, a former chief judge of Anambra State. He is a lawyer, former judicial officer and law academic that was born in Anambra State. Of course, he's married with children. He has served in different capacity. He has his legal profession, and of course, a lecturer also in the Faculty of Law. He is the sole focus of our concentration on tonight's program. I'm being joined by my guest to look through these issues on our table and see how it will affect the people at the 2023 general election outcome. Talking about the national president, Christian The program is to x-ray these presidential candidates so that the people will know who to go for come 2023 general elections, specifically the presidential election. Your take on the candidate, the person of Professor Nana Umeade, talking about the presidential candidate of Habga, before we start bringing other issues that are very, very vital in as much as the 2023 general election is concerned.
Wow, it's a great deal of concern to the Nigerian youths, um, the jurisdiction which I represent. I am very, very disheartened by the way things are going in this nation. And I've discovered that, look, we have never been this divided than like ever before, because a design was made by some certain class of this, of the rulership, in quote.
You're trying to say there's no leadership, you're saying rulership.
Yes, what we are suffering for in Nigeria today is rulership. When nobody can talk and go free. And when the youths have no base, because the system has made it so for the youth not to have a base. And then, here comes another season to choose another Caesar. And then we have classes of people who vied for political flag-bearing position of all different political parties. The man in question, Umeade, is a highly respected personality, a senior jurist for that matter, who has been able to serve out his terms from time of being called to the bar and then pass through a series of leadership positions in the judiciary, and now he's a highly respected personality. He's a person to reckon with. But come to think of it as the case is right now, there's a high issue on the burner in the center stage of Nigeria, which has to do with unity. We have lost unity, and we are preaching unity. And we want any political party leader or a flag bearer at all levels to consider unity. While you are throwing your heart into the ring, unity should be what you think about. So I respect him for being found honorable and then holding the power and the position to flag Abga to the promised land. But there's something I really want to say in this case. Nigeria has been divided by tribal line.
Are you really certain that Nigeria has been divided, comrade?
Has been made to look divided on tribal line because of what ethnicity has been brought to play in this season of our political life. One, if Nigeria has not been made to look divided, going to Kaduna from here is an issue. Flying the air is an issue. Going to the through the train is an issue. And even the judiciary that is the hope of is said to be the hope of the masses. We are seeing a whole lot of things that the leg is on their neck by the executive. We have it on several counts that that shows that the leg of the executive is on the neck of the judiciary. And I believe that could be what my senior leader, the jurist, Umeade, saw that made him to throw his hat into the ring, wanting to lead the nation.
All right, thank you very much. You will still come back to your points. Having established all those things, talking about the issues facing our country, their country at the moment, from insecurity, that people no longer travel from one pole to the other because of state of things at the moment in the country. Looking at the person, since we are having a view of him on this program tonight, talking about the presidential candidate of Habga, Peter Umeade, do you think that should he go through? I know you have a reservation. We are not promoting it, but we are dealing with the issue because it's the center of focus on our program tonight. That he has the quality. For the fact that he's a jurist, he has served in divergent capacity. That he has what it takes to solving these issues that you have established tonight facing our country.
Yes, like I said, he has seen it all while in service. And I believe for him to have come out looking for the votes of the Nigerian people, he has a plan. But you see, one thing is for sure. One thing is to have the feelings for the people. One thing is to have the interest to solve the situation, the challenge of the people. Another thing is the wherewithal. The masses, the relationship with the downtrodden, the grassroots, especially the youth and women and students that are out of school today. There are things that made him to vie for this position. But with due respect to his personality, as a senior citizen that is highly respected, I've seen his track record, a clean man to the core. But I would like to suggest something. The ovation is high right now because there's a man called Peter Obi that came into the fora. He is from Anambra State. Umeade is from Anambra State. With due respect to the two respectable, honorable, and enviable leaders, you see, a house divided against itself can never stand.
All right, you will come back to that particular issue. Why I allowed you? Because you've cited clearly that Umeade, of course, and Peter Obi, they are both from Anambra State.
And brothers.
Yeah, and they are brothers. I had to allow you to learn. Now, looking at presidential especially as a president, does it really have roots for one to deliver governance in the interest of the people?
Yes, it does.
How?
Your antecedents place you before the general populace who you are, where you're coming from, what you are doing now, what you have done, and what you said you're going to do. Like I tell you, to be candid with you, Nigeria needs an acceptable person from all walks of life in Nigeria at the moment. And then, track record in the sense that, based on the fact that Omeadi Peter was a judicial senior officer before he retired, he knows the problems of this nation. And P2B, who was his governor, who has served in that state and has no stain like himself till today, and they are seen as a man of honor, I think the youth has a position in these elections. And having seen where it's going, I still keep saying, because the topic of today is to x-ray the political situation, and sincerely, I still maintain that the Igbos should call both of them to a family meeting. APGA was the party that P2B won his governorship election through elections, and then mandate taking, went back to court, came back, served out his tenure as an APGA man, stood up to this moment as an APGA man, and there was a time need was for him to go to another political party to push for that. Then he was able to move PDP and all of that, with whatever happens that I don't know now in Labour Party, and the ovation is high. I'm pleading with the Eastern community. Sincerely, I am an Igala man from Kogi State. I live in Abuja and I've toured around. I worked with Atiku campaign in 2019 as a leader of the Nigerian Christian and the youth and the Nigerian youth. From there, we worked with series of governors, and we see where the direction is going. Today, the houses are divided, and the youth have taken a stand. I am pleading. I don't want to tell anybody step down, so that it will not look as if I come to a national station and start telling Omeadi step down for P2B, P2B step down for Omeadi. These two men are wise people. There are times that ovation may not be selling you. So the youths, as it were, as I'm speaking to you, have taken a stand, and I think they are supporting P2B from the ovation we are seeing. So I'm pleading with both of them and the Kingsmen from the Southeast to call and advise the two persons based on the ovation that is high in the center point. Can Omeadi win presidential election now? That question should be put in place. Is P2B commanding the interest and support of the Nigerian youth, as the case may be, as you are hearing obedient, there will be movement, it's a movement and all of that, and people are donating money into the center, so that the house will not get divided.
All right, so that the house will not get divided. Can Omeadi win the 2023 presidential election is the question. That will take us down to the next issue, talking about the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Grand Alliance. He has come up to say that during when he was conversing for the ticket of APGA, Omeadi described himself as the best candidate to win the 2023 presidential election for the party. In his word, I quote, "It is not possible for us to achieve economic, educational, scientific, sporting, or sufficiency breakthrough when we are hungry, insecure, and unstable." He had said, Omeadi noted that he has the capacity to reposition Nigeria in 4 years. Nigerians are traumatized on daily basis from wanton killings. We know that insecurity, among other fallout, has driven our people away from the farms, creating artificial scarcity of food and earning power. He also said that therefore Nigeria requires change, which only good leadership rather can provide. That we need to change the way we think so we can change the way we do things. If I get the ticket of Abga as he has gotten, that said the party must stand a chance, and him also as the presidential candidate to win the election in 2023. He said Nigerians are entitled to a country better run than what we have now, assuring a new Nigeria, which his government and the center under his watch would bring about. That was from Mr. Peter Umeadi, lamenting killings, displacements, disorganization of business and social life with attendant difficulty to sustain economic, commercial, and domestic life. Comrade Desmond Fred, this is the position of the presidential candidate. Do you see reality around the statement?
Yes, but this is it's in the public domain. Everybody knows that this is what is bedeviling the nation, but and of course it's artificially designed to affect us this way by the enemy of unity of this nation. So if we have an enemy of this nation,
but by enemy of unity of this nation,
yes.
What do you what were you implying?
Yes, there's enemy of the unity of this nation, and that takes me to what is playing out right now. Why will I not say there's an enemy of this nation? Long time ago, when I was young, my grandmother was a Muslim. My mother and my father, Christians. During Salah period, as united as we are, they will sew the same clothes for us to go and play around families. And then we come back with our gifts and share together. When it's Christmas time, they sew the same clothes to the children of my other mother siblings who choose the path of Islam. And up till today, that family is united, not until my cousins have been indoctrinated to see me as an enemy. Whereas we love ourselves and even sponsor ourselves in school, eat together, dine together. Today, if my cousin brother is coming, I'm afraid because I don't know which one will lead to Zabude Kazabaya Hanayanka. Which means in the Hausa parlance that familiarity with a chicken or fowl does not prevent you from slaughtering the hare. That is where they have taken us to. We're having Bible before here. We're having Quran before here. But you see, the fanatics that have come to take the hold of our nation leadership have decided to scatter all of us. And they are still prepared. They are bent on how to destroy us now. Somebody came out to tell me that the Christians in the north has no capacity to deputize their presidential candidate. And then the only opportunity and option we have now is to focus on one channel. And this channel, whether you, my moderator, my presenter here, accept it or not, there's a reality.
Do you think this particular point you've raised this night, Comrade Desmond Fred, we're talking about politics here.
Yes.
This will lead to distribution of the scarce resources in our country to different channels,
yes,
to different geopolitical zone and what have you. That with with these things rather happening, with what you have tabled before us, that Nigerians actually coming out from this angle you are coming out from, considering the dividing lines and what have you, they are ready to having the right person that will deliver
the right person,
good governance.
the right person.
If yes, how and why do you think so?
Okay, yes, because there is a belief already that the Nigerian unity has been bastardized. And we know of people as campaigns are going on. We know who is saying, I have done it before. I can do it again. Check my track record. The people are watching, interests are high. Would you like to target the destiny of your unborn children or your children now? Are you seeing that people are out of school? And somebody say, I will give this, I will do the school, I will do all of that, I will move around, I will make things work. Because we are seeing the antecedent, especially P2OB, by sharing, building schools, giving vehicles to schools, giving computers to schools of years when every other governors were going cap in hand to Abuja.
Don't you think it would be out of place for you to say that Peter Obi then was the only person who came up to say that, okay, I did this, I can point finger at what I did. Other governors in other states did similar things.
I'm not talking of other governors. I'm talking of who is the people that are in the presidential race.
No, you're
right
referring
now.
to administration. So other
As of
administration
then,
different. Even
up
as
till
of
now,
then, they
we are
did
not seeing
similar
them.
things.
We have seen all of them are looters. I can tell you categorically clear, and I have records. Permit me, I will present records with name calling, and I'll read it here. I have details that happens of what happens with them. There's EFCC case that is still hanging and some ongoing. We have details. So now, P2OB finished his tenure and called the EFCC to come and investigate
Of
him.
course, every other governor can easily do such a thing.
We have not seen one.
One must not come up to say that this and that and all of that. There are persons who are still ready to doing such a thing, but because of their standard, they will want to keep it to themselves. Don't you think so?
Standard for who? Standard that my children are, my brothers, my younger ones are out of school. Standard that I don't know when Nigeria will be stabilized. And then you keep complaining about 16 years of PDP and all of that. Now you have spent almost 8 years. Nothing to show for it. And you're burying the nation. And the funny thing is that nobody cares whether... Are you seeing the bloodshed going on in Nigeria? So somebody came out and said, I want to harmonize and bring the unity that has been taken away from the Nigerian people. And it's P2OB. And he has a brother who is contesting from Anambra on the same page, looking for the same position. Who is contesting against Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu of APC?
Comrade Desmond, friend, we have about 15 presidential candidates from different political parties.
Yes,
at the moment vying for this particular position.
You see, I don't want to talk about mushroom political parties. We know in quotes today there are political parties that are holding sway. That is...
But INEC up until date recognizes these political parties.
Yes, they do. But see, can you mention their names and remember before you wake up? In fact, you can't even spell the rest of their names because they are just, some of them are there by sponsorship to just feature their face and all of you appear on social media, appear on TV station, and then where are they toying around? Truth be spoken, look, I am a Nigerian youth. You are. I am angry. The Nigerian youths are angry. Guns were turned against us when we did NSAS because they were killing our brothers. And the people that were being killed came out and said, we don't want this. And then you want to kill all of us. You kill us with increment in price of petroleum. You kill us with tuition fee that is high. You kill us with all manner of things. We can't go to the farms. You say you are doing agri support program. We can't go to the farm. We can't be at home. In the house, they kill people. You go to the farm, they kidnap you. You are in the train, they kill you. You are in the airplane, you are not safe. The army, we are hearing, army is complicit, army is not, and all of that. Then we have people who come out and say clearly, we have them that I want to change the narrative. And the person that have told me all of that I've heard, is tearing down the nation and is catching the ovation is P2OB. Truth be spoken. So I am begging both of them. Everything, political position and leadership power is in the hands of God. And he creates it the time after time for whoever that should take the lead at the point. I want to plead, my brother, I am crying. We don't need another thing that will disorganize this movement, this interest. On the street, P2OB. In the house, P2OB.
All right,
so Peter Omeadi, I am pleading. Please, I want him to reunite with his brother P2OB. and see how we can move this arc to the center point so that we'll not divide the vote coming from the southeast. I am not, I'm spending my money doing sensitization, voter sensitization all along. 7 states have told
All right,
we
Comrade
don't
Desmond.
want money from anybody.
All right, Comrade
I
Desmond
want
Fred,
it. Yes.
that's your reservation, that's your position, and you're entitled to your position and your opinion. I respect that clearly. But now, finally, before we round off tonight's edition of the program, we have been looking at presidential candidates in this race to get the position of president 2023 general election. What should Nigerians look out for when it comes to these presidential candidates towards 2023 general election?
Nigerians are looking forward to a unifier. Somebody who knows that there is hunger in the land. Somebody who knows how to revamp the economy and rebuild the economy. Not somebody who will come and divide me on religious line anymore. And not somebody who will come and quote laws on my neck, even if my neck is pressing me. He say, look, this is what, and yet when we get back, they don't practice the same law that they place before us. I'm pleading with everybody in this case to talk to Omeadi Peter. We love him, we appreciate him. If he can support Peter before now.
All right, Comrade Desmond Fred, thank you very much. Dear viewer, it's been our concentration was on the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, of course, who has been doing this discussion tonight on the program. He is a youth political rights activist, of course, national president, also a Christian Youth Movement for Good Governance. Comrade Desmond Fred Adejo. Comrade Adejo, thank you for coming to Elections 2023.
It's my pleasure.
All right, we'll keep doing it so that the people will know the candidates who have taken it upon themselves to represent this country come 2023 general election. My name is Moses Ben. You can follow us on our social media handles. Twitter at Atlantic TV Net. Facebook and YouTube is Atlantic Television Network. Instagram is at Atlantic TV Network. Remember that peace and unity are the pathway to progress. Good night.
The people, the candidates, the party, the campaigns. What really makes an election here? Enough of the rhetorics. It's time for issue-based politics. 2023 elections. Who are the candidates? What do you know about them? Take a seat, relax, and join us for the 2023 elections on Atlantic Television Network, StarTimes, DTH, Channel 194, or ATN Live on Google Play Store and all our social media platforms. Twitter is at Atlantic TV Net. Facebook and YouTube is at Atlantic Television Network. On Instagram is at Atlantic TV Network. Elections 2023 from Mondays to Fridays at 8 p.m. Election 2023. We the people have a stake.
It's the people making the difference in our time on ATN Icons. Here, we present you legends celebrated for their heroism in different fields and serve as role models today. ATN Icons, showing every Sunday 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Atlantic Television Network, StarTimes DTH Channel 194, ATN Live on Google App Store, Facebook Atlantic Television Network, YouTube Atlantic Television Network, Instagram Atlantic TV Network, Twitter Atlantic TV Net. For sponsorship 0810 634 1777. ATN Icons, celebrating the giants of our time.
campaigns. What really makes an election here? Enough of the rhetorics. It's time for issue-based politics. 2023 elections. Who are the candidates? What do you know about them? Take a seat, relax, and join us for the 2023 elections on Atlantic Television Network, StarTimes, DTH, Channel 194, or ATN Live on Google Play Store and all our social media platforms. Twitter is at Atlantic TV Net. Facebook and YouTube is at Atlantic Television Network. On Instagram is at Atlantic TV Network. Elections 2023 from Mondays to Fridays at 8 p.m. Election 2023. We the people have a stake.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
you human
on the point of order.
Honorable
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
every day our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what the blood.
I have fought very firmly.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
people into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
you human
on the point of order. Honorable They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
so no agreement with the EU, but
from the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert
Welcome to the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. First, the headlines. Human rights activists in Ibehe Effiong sentenced to prison. Be wary of faceless security guards, says NSCDC. Lawmakers threatens President Buhari with impeachment. No candidate violated law on multiple reforms, says INEC. Senate to invite Emefiele over Naira devaluation. Burna Boy terms others listed in Obama's 2022 summer playlist. Brume sets gold medal target after Oregon's feat. The State Commandant of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Rivers State Command, has charged the Association of Licensed Private Security Practitioners of Nigeria, ALPSPN, in Rivers State on the need to exercise caution when hiring private security guards, as criminal-minded persons might disguise and get hired if not thoroughly scrutinized and profiled effectively. Commandant Michael Besong Oga gave this charge while welcoming the executives of the ALPSPN in his office at the command headquarters in Port Harcourt. He noted that the fight against crime and criminalities in the nation calls for concerted efforts of all stakeholders, and as such, those recruited as private security guards must be well scrutinized and necessary background check done before deploying them to various duty locations. According to Bisong Oga, the NSCDC Establishment Act 2003, as amended 2007, specifically mandated the NSCDC to train, monitor, supervise, and issue license of operation to registered private guard companies in Nigeria. The command under my watch will go after those illegal operators who are sabotaging the security architecture of the state. There was pandemonium at the Port Harcourt Mall, the largest and most popular shopping center in the River State capital, following a fire incident on Wednesday morning. It was gathered that the fire, which resulted from a faulty air conditioner, burst into an inverter in the facility and went up in flames. However, it was put out by the engineers there. When the incident occurred, shoppers, shop owners, and some workers were carefully evacuated to avoid a stampede. Normalcy has, however, since been restored to the area. The Chief Judge of Akwa Ibom, Justice Ekaite Obot, on Wednesday sent Lagos-based human rights activist Inibehe Effiong to prison for 1 month for allegedly being rude while in court. Barrister Effiong was appearing as counsel for Leo Ekpeyong, who is being dragged to the court by Governor Udom Emmanuel over alleged defamation. Ekpeyong had accused Udom of bribing the chairman of the 2019 Election Petition Tribunal in the state, Justice W.O. Akambi, to influence judgments in favor of the then PDP senatorial candidate, Obong Chris Ekpeyong. Leo Ekpeyong allegedly claimed the governor paid $1.4 million to Akambi to secure victory for Senator Chris Ekpeyong against Senator Godswill Akpabio of the APC. Enibehe Effiong said he had earlier asked the judge to rescue herself from the case over possible bias. He said the motion for recusal was not taken by the court, only for him to be committed to prison on Wednesday. He further stated that when he came in, the judge came and had ordered some armed policemen with AK-47 to come into the courtroom, 2 of them including her orderly, He added that when the proceedings started, he reminded the court that he has a motion for recusal against asking the chief judge to recuse herself from the matter on grounds of likelihood of bias, which he has failed. We are now being joined by a public affairs analyst, educator, and head relief law chambers, Azubike Ihemeje Esquire. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Welcome to the Global News and Atlantic Television Network.
Good evening, and good evening, our viewers.
You're welcome, sir. Now, considering the issue on ground, Barrister Effiong had filed a motion for the recusation of the chief judge, and that was not honored. First of all, I would like to find out on what grounds do you think a motion for recusation of the judge should be filed?
The motion for the judge to recluse himself is normally filed properly with an affidavit. And from the contact I've established with the courts and the lawyers thereof in the matter, Effiong rightfully brought the application. The application was properly brought before the court. In fact, it was right for hearing. It was an application duly filed in compliance with the law, seeking the chief judge, who has manifestly demonstrated personal interest in the matter, to recluse herself and to possibly reassign the matter to another judge in the interest of justice for fair hearing and for the interest of any form of unbiased mind or whatever thing that might, be connected to impartiality. Or that might prejudice the impartiality of the judge, as it were. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Now, given the scenario, we see that the judge turned down that motion. She didn't honor the motion, and then he also lamented that there was a presence of armed security men in the court during the proceedings, which he also applied that they should be asked to go out of the courtroom. First of all, are armed policemen allowed in the courtroom during proceedings? And if yes, on what grounds should they be allowed?
Well, the ambience of the courtroom is also part of the requirements, as it were, for justice. The justice entails that the courtroom must be conducive for both the counsel and the litigants who are in the court. The courtroom should not be a place that should be hostile to parties before it, whether you are counsel or your litigants or parties in a matter. So it's matters of tyranny to find armed police officers inside the court. They can be within the precincts of the court, but not right inside the courtroom. Coming inside the courtroom ordinarily poses reasonable apprehension, can create reasonable apprehension of fear, and poses threats to everybody. Anything could happen. That is why it is unheard of that the courtroom should be a place that will be, infiltrated by armed police officers. Normally, what we have always known is that they will be within the precinct of the court, outside the courtroom, not right inside the courtroom while the proceedings are going on.
All right, thank you very much. Just like you've acknowledged, Barrister Effiong was right in his motion for recusal, as well as the demand that these armed security operatives be asked to stay outside of the courtroom. But then he has been sentenced to a month imprisonment for court contempt. What's your take on that?
Well, that act of committal of Barrister Effiong, that act by the Chief Judge on itself is tyranny and excessive abuse of judicial powers by the Chief Judge. It is uncalled for. It is unheard of. It is beyond any imagination that someone like a lawyer, a counsel in a matter, is it a sin for someone to demonstrate some form of activism in his practice? What could have warranted the committer in the first place? And given the circumstance, it becomes more suspect that the Chief Judge, who is faced with a motion seeking her to recluse herself, to recluse oneself from a matter is just hands off the matter that you're already biased. Now look, justice is hinged, is deep-rooted in confidence. The moment the confidence of any of the party has been eroded in a judge that is handling a matter, that matter the justice can never be guaranteed. So, being that there is a motion on the face of the court seeking that the Chief Judge recluse herself and hands off the case, and she still went on to proceed with other matters, including committal of the counsel in the matter that is seeking for her to remove. So, on which interest? There's no more justice. Justice has been murdered. Justice has been murdered on the altar of her ego or her biasness, her interest, manifest interest in the matter, personal interest in the matter, or the interest of those that is struggling or trying to impress. She must be working for the party, the other party, the adverse party in the matter, as opposed to the one that Barrister Young is representing. That is the only reason why she went all out to demonstrate her pure biasness. And she even went to the highest level of a punitive measure against a lawyer representing his clients, just merely because they have asked you to recluse yourself. These are unwarranted. These are things that are not justifiable in any democracy, even in military era. It's unheard of. That woman has demonstrated, the Chief Judge there, whoever she is, has demonstrated clear case of tyranny of the highest order and a gross abuse of judicial power. And is condemnable, we deprecate it. My take is that the Chief Judge should reverse herself. And of course, it is her discretion. It's a discretionary order she has exercised, and she has a duty bound by justice to reverse that obnoxious order she has made against a lawyer, because this is completely against anything close to democracy on human rights.
As it is right now, what's the fate of Barrister Effiong? Does he have a chance to appeal?
Definitely. The Chief Judge is just the Chief Judge of a high court. There is still the 3 ladders. The Court of Appeal will upturn that her decision and will do justice to it and to restore back the dignity and the rights of Barrister Effiong. The Court of Appeal will do justice to it if she does not reverse herself under her very obnoxious discretionary order. The Court of Appeal have a duty, constitutional duty, upon appeal to them, of course, which I know that the lawyers have already fast-tracked their appeal. They will release him and they will descend on that Chief Judge for demonstrating this tyranny of judicial power.
All right, thank you, Azubike Hemeji Esquire, for being part of the Global News and Atlantic Television Network tonight.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
You're welcome, sir. The Delta State chapter of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has dismissed speculations and social media reports that it had disobeyed an order of court with regards to its governorship candidate and that the party does not have a candidate for the 2023 governorship election in the state. In a statement on Tuesday by the National Publicity Secretary, Honorable Debo Olugunagba, the party declared that it did not disobey court order and that it has a valid governorship candidate, Oborewori Sherry Francis Orewedo. The statement further said, with reference to Delta State, the party duly submitted and uploaded the name of Oborewori Sherry Francis Orewedo as the Delta State governorship candidate of the PDP onto INEC portal on Friday, 8 July 2022. It said on July 18, 2022, 3 days after the closure of access to the INEC portal, the party and INEC received a court order directing the substitution of the name of Oborewori Sherry Francis Orewedo with another name, of which, given the closure on 15 July 2022, the party had no access to the INEC portal. House of Representatives has passed into law a bill establishing Institute of Strategic Management Nigeria during its legislative sitting on Wednesday, 27 July 2022. The sitting, presided over by Right Honorable Ahmed Idris Wase, Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives, deliberated the bill which seeks to establish Institute of Strategic Management of Nigeria that is empowered with responsibilities to regulate and determine the standard of knowledge, skills, and qualifications of strategic managers in Nigeria and other related matters. With the legislative approval by the House, the bill will be sent to the Senate for concurrence, after which it will be transferred to the President for assent and implementation will commence by the Institute. It will be recalled that the bill was presented to the National Assembly as a private member bill by Honorable Chinyere Igwe, PhD, in 2022. The Managing Director of National Inland Waterways Authority, George Mogalu, has said that an enabling environment and relationship with private sectors in movement of cargoes and regulation of vessels has helped reduce avoidable risk and contributed to success in the waterways sector. The Managing Director, George Mogalu, said this while speaking with ATN's correspondent Neoma Omeji in Abuja on Wednesday.
The Managing Director, National Inland Waterways Authority, Dr. George Mogalu, have reiterated the commitment of NIWA in creating an enabling environment with private sectors in moving of cargoes and regulation of vessels in order to reduce unnecessary and avoidable risks reoccurring in the waterways sector.
By bringing in the private sector, we are opening it up to very prompt activity because the investor, the concessionaire, will not want to waste his money. And he saw the potentials, or rather they saw the potentials that abound in that investment before they can now come to concession from government to own it for 30 years, to manage it, to run it. And they're going to run it for profit. In doing this, it provides another opportunity for employment opportunities. And then the port, for example, on which will impact massively on the economic activities of the immediate environment. You see, the last clients, bulk cargo is either moved by water or by rail. And I also believe very strongly that a very active Onitsha River, a very active Barrow port, a very active Uguta River port, a very active Lokoja River port, certainly will help in easing the congestion we have in the country as returning the unity. Our roads are not designed to carry, but an active Onitsha River port, an active channel moving consignment from Lagos to Onitsha, moving consignment from Lagos to Uguta, moving consignment from Lagos to Burutu, Lagos to Lokoja, Lagos to Barrow. When that is consignments that will go by road will now end up going by water. We will save our infrastructure, we will reduce the pressure on our roads, and we will decongest the ports in Lagos. But the activity in nature and these river ports that are in the hinterland has helped in achieving this objective. So there's quite a lot we are going to gain as a people by the concession. Alright? And then that's why we, as I speak to you, we have received unsolicited proposals for concession of Barrow Port, even for the ports that are not yet completed. Ubuta, Lokoja, have received proposals. We have tried to create an enabling environment. We have created a friendly environment for the private sector. We've tried all we can do to make sure we ease all the bottlenecks, because they are desirous. They see the potentials in it. So by the time we get the private sector fully involved in our activities, it's going to be economically beneficial to everyone.
Clarifying the issue of jurisdiction and overlap of responsibilities with sister agencies, Chief Judge Moalo says the Act have helped outline activities of various agencies and ensure proper regulation.
NIWA, as an organization, has no problem with state governments having their local organizations or agencies to manage their waterways. As to jurisdiction and responsibility, it is clearly designated in the Act. There are also court cases and judgments attesting to that fact. Put in very simple terms, when a waterway begins and ends in a state, it resides in the authority of the state. When it does not begin and end in a state, it is a federal responsibility. And there are judgments to that effect. So as to jurisdiction, it is clear as what is NIWA's responsibility to the Nigerian public. And we have consistently insisted on enforcing that provision. Our responsibilities are clearly spelled out by law. All right. We are responsible for inland waterways. The MPA has its own responsibility. NIMASA also has its own responsibility. But we are all sister agencies. We are children of one parent. And then we have a forum we created, a platform we created for chief executives of all these parastatals, where we meet on a regular basis. Parastatals of the Ministry of Transportation, we meet. And when we get to our meetings, if there are areas we feel there's need for collaboration, why not?
Addressing the issue of boat registration by drivers, the MD restated the efforts of the government in training and certifying boat drivers by making fees minimal and accessible, mentioning the willingness of the government to make these registrations free as long as citizens are actively engaged and educated subsequently.
We have started the training of drivers. I went to commission, there was one I went to open in Badagry. We trained 450 boat operators. There's one in Wari, because we train them and license them, so that people don't just go and carry. We have task forces. We set. Lagos is working on it, is working. We're trying to replicate that in the north. They can stop a boat operator in the middle of the water. I must be honest with you, the training is not free, but we have made it very minimal. We have subsidized it. You see, one thing about totally free is that once it's totally free, nobody takes it serious. That's the truth. But when somebody puts in, no matter how small, there's a level of commitment. Are you getting me? But we have made it so cheap that that will not be a reason. Even if, like we said, there are even situations where if you think that the best way to get them to get involved is by making it free, we are willing to do it. Because we are talking about human lives. We are talking about making the waterways all year round navigable, so that it can be a certified alternative means of transportation. So anything we will do as an organization to encourage it, we're training. Waterton, we have a school. In Wari, we have a school. We made it in such a way that you have the two choices. But we have online registration of vessels, inspection, certification, and registration online. We also, it is still possible you can also get your vessel registered physically.
He further emphasized efforts to set up and build boat yards in order to build bigger vessels that have more capacity for cargo than passengers.
Like now, we have even gone up to setting up a team that goes to boat yards. You know, like we have a lot of boat yards in this country. And I'm proud to say that a good number of the vessels that NIWA has today are made in Nigeria. We even have a team now that go to certify boat yards to make sure that what we want is what we get. In the procurement process now, 2 of the contractors who want to get jobs has proposed to now build the boats in our yard. That they will do it in our dockyard. So that we want to see them do it there. So we are going to the extent of now setting up a boat yard within our dockyard so that we can build vessels ourselves.
Norma Omeje, ATN News, Abuja.
The Federal Road Safety Corps Ogere Unit Command in Remo North Local Government Area of Ogun State said it had handed over the sum of 310,700 naira and other materials to the relatives of crash victims. The FRSC Public Education Officer, Ogun Sector Command, Florence Okpe, disclosed this in a statement on Wednesday. Okpe said the crash occurred at about 6:25 a.m. on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway before Iperu Bridge, killing 4 persons while 6 persons sustained injuries. She said the FRSC Ogere Command exhibited its professionalism in the rescue operation by taking the injured victims for medical attention, depositing the dead to the morgue, and also calling the relatives of the crash victims to come over and recover the properties recovered from the scene. The command recovered the sum of 310,700 naira and other items from a crash scene. Ahead of April 2023 head counts, the National Population Commission (NPC) has conducted a trial census in Imokun, Afon local government area of Ogun State. The exercise, which started in July 20, will end on Saturday, ATN learned. The executive chairman of NPC, Nasser Issa Ara, who monitored the exercise, said Imeko Afun was chosen as the pilot area for the trial census in southwest geopolitical zone of the country. Kwara, who was certified with the conduct of the exercise, said the challenges recorded would serve as lessons for the Commission to improve on the performance of the general census. The exercise was also monitored by the federal commissioners of the NPC from Bayelsa, Enugu, Ekiti, Taraba, Osun, Ogun, Oyo, and Ondo states. Kwara, who spoke through the Federal Commissioner of Oyo State, Dr. Eyitayo Oyetunji, disclosed that over 800 functionaries were deployed for the exercise. Addressing a town hall meeting of residents to evaluate the success of the exercise, Kwara explained that the purpose of the trial census was not to witch hunt anyone, but to test the instruments and methods to be adopted for the main census. The president of the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC), Comrade Ayuba Waba, says there will be no going back on the union's proposed nationwide strike if the federal government fails to resolve the ongoing strike action in Nigerian universities and other tertiary institutions in the country. Waba was speaking when he led Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC), students, parents, and other stakeholders on a protest to the National Assembly on Wednesday. He said that about 1.6 trillion naira spent by the elites to send their children to school outside the country is enough to revamp education in the country. The NLC president noted that Nigerian university lecturers are the least paid in Africa, leading to a massive exodus of the best brains from the country to other climes.
A people united can never hold your hands together. Hold your hands together. Those Nigerian workers than this motto. That means you are above my line. Be on a straight line. Now, A people united cannot be defeated. Nigerian workers and teachers inspiration through the workers' blood shall run. That you know makes us solidarity.
We're here to lay our complaint of what is happening in the entire education system in Nigeria. I'm sure they are also aware that the university system had been shut down for 5 months. And I'm sure they are also aware that it's the children of the working class, the children of the less privileged, and the children of the poor that are actually affected. And I think this is a matter that requires urgent national attention. That is why we had to scale it up to the level of protest in every state for the governors to be aware. We have scaled it to every also state house assembly for the legislators in the state to be aware. We are happy that some state governors came out physically to receive our complaint letters and also make promises. That is leadership. We are aware some ran away. Leadership is not about shifting goalposts. That is why we are here, comrades. And therefore, they have experts because it is supposed to be reviewed every 3 years. Today is 11 years and people are still dilly-dallying. That is why our university workers are the least paid in Africa. Our professors earn less than $700. You can Google in your phone to find out what is the average in Africa. I did that this morning before I came here. I know what South African are paying their professors, and that's why many of our professors, our best paid, they are leaving. There is massive exodus of our best paid.
President Ahmed Lawal, represented by Senator Chukwuka Utazi, assured that the National Assembly will work hard at ensuring the issues are resolved. Speaker of the House of Representatives, who represented by Honorable Mohammed Wadir, promised that all relevant stakeholders will be brought together as soon as possible to address the problem.
And you submitted your own demands. And if I'm sure Mr. President will know that even in the demand, we have our input. We have our input. Why do we have our input? Is to show that all the burden is on every single Nigerian. So this report or this submission, this demand, like you said, we are members of the National Assembly with the ministers, everybody is answerable to chamber. So what we agreed to do is that as soon as possible, we are going to make sure this chamber bring in the ministers of education, the ministers of labor, the NLC, the TUC, the NAS, the Nigerian students, the Minister of Finance to be on the same table, so that maybe within 1 day or 2 days, that nobody move unless and of course we find a solution to this lingering crisis. We assure you that, like you said, even though some of you may not believe us, but we are telling you down to our heart that we are bringing everybody, more especially today that you brought in your demand. We are going to make it a national or a emergency situation in House of Reps to ensure all your demands are treated as a one do.
The Federal Capital Territory has directed the closure of all private schools in Abuja. The directive comes amidst threats to attack in the capital city. Atlantic Television Network has earlier reported that security agencies had got a security report that the Islamic State West Africa province and Boko Haram planned to attack Lagos, Kaduna, Kogi, Katsina and Zamfara states as well as the Federal Capital Territory. Earlier, the Federal Ministry of Education had ordered the immediate closure one of its unity colleges, the Federal Government College Kwale, located in Kwale Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The decision was taken after a reported terrorist attack on the neighboring Sheda community in the area council, which is close to the college. You are watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back. The Senate Minority Caucus threatens to impeach. The Senate Minority Caucus has issued a 6-week ultimatum to President Muhammadu Buhari to address security challenges in the country, or would be served impeachment notice. The caucus, led by the Senate's Minority Leader, Senator Philip Aduda, while addressing journalists in Abuja after staging a walk out from the Senate chamber, said the Senate has at various times convened various security meetings at which they had recommended various measures to address issues of insecurity.
Of government is the protection of lives and property of citizens. And for us, the minority caucus in the Senate, we also took into cognizance the fact that the Senate had at various levels, at various times, convened various security meetings, various security issues were discussed, and we did recommend to government various steps and measures aimed at curbing these issues of insecurity. We realized that even Abuja that we are in is no longer no more safe, and all of you will agree with us. And so at the closed session we agreed that we will give the president an ultimatum that failing which, if it is not complied with, will move immediately to give an impeachment notice. And this we agreed at the executive session, at closed door session. So when we came out of the closed door session, we expected that the president will brief the public on the issues that have happened, but however, that did not happen. So we have come here in protest to brief you and to let you know that we are with Nigerians in this struggle, and that we are worried that nowhere is safe.
The Independent National Electoral Commission has affirmed that no candidates violated the provisions of Section 115 of the Electoral Act 2022 relating to the nomination of candidates. INEC's National Commissioner and Chairman, Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye, made this known in an interview with our correspondent on Tuesday. Okoye was responding to reports that President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, Governor Ben Ayade of Cross River State, Dave Umahi of Ebonyi State, and some others who obtained multiple forms ought to have been arrested as defined in Section 152 of the Electoral Act. Lawan, Ayade, and Umahi, who were president aspirants on the platform of the All Progressive Congress, were also said to have purchased senatorial forms. Section 115, subsection 1, Article D of the Act provides that any person who signs a nomination paper or result form as a candidate in more than one constituency at the same election commits an offense and is liable on conviction to a term of imprisonment. Section 152 of the Act defines a candidate to mean a person who has secured the nomination of a political party to contest an election for any elective office. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has said there is a limit to what it can do in terms of curtailing vote buying during elections in the country. The INEC Commissioner representing Niger, Kogi, and Kwara states in north-central Nigeria, Professor Mohammed Sani Adam, made the assertion in Mina, Niger State, during his visit to monitor the ongoing voter registration exercise in the state. Professor Adam explained that vote buying is a national issue and a sociological problem and is a dimension to jeopardize the process of credible elections in Nigeria. There are the anti-corruption agencies like the ICPC and the EFCC and other security apparatus basically saddled with the responsibility of monitoring criminal activities. Ours is to conduct elections, not monitor criminals. INEC has nothing to do as far as vote buying is concerned. What INEC can only do is to ensure that the polls are free, fair and all-encompassing, and also to ensure that polling units, security, materials, and the process of the polling are fully observed according to the Electoral Act, he noted. The INEC commissioner also cautioned religious and traditional leaders across the country on the need to advise their subjects to desist from selling their votes during elections, while advising politicians to always form the habit of accepting defeat during elections. The governing board of the National Youth Service Corps, led by its chairperson, Ambassador Fatima Bala Abubakar, on Wednesday appealed to the Nigerian Army to deploy more soldiers for the protection of NYSC orientation camps spread across the 36 states of the country and Abuja in view of the security situation in the country. Speaking when the board paid a visit to the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya at Army headquarters in Abuja, Mrs. Abubakar said, "Sir, as you are aware, the NYSC has orientation camps which houses a minimum of 1,500 corps members in all the states of the Federation. And given the incidences of insecurity in the country, we are concerned about the safety of the young men and women under our care. We are not unaware of the security situation in the country and the many areas that require the attention of the Nigerian Army. However, we have come to you for more support, bearing in mind that the NYSC is the baby of the Nigerian Army." The Kaduna State government, through the State's Universal Basic Education Board, SUBEB, has flagged off the distribution of over 3,000 tablet devices to primary schools in the state. The SUBEB chairman in the state said the scheme is to ensure that enrollment and attendance of pupils in the state are enhanced. ATN News correspondent Mike Ode James has the report. The People's Democratic Party Cross River State chapter has urged APC candidates for Northern Senatorial District Governor Ben Ayade to focus on preparing his handover notes while calling on him to forget about pursuing a senatorial aspiration. In a statement on Wednesday, the publicity secretary of the party, Mike Ojisi, described the governor's ambition as one with apparent challenges while urging him to read the handwriting on the wall and save himself the unnecessary stress and embarrassment. They stated, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, wishes to advise Governor Ben Ayade to see the handwriting on the wall and save himself unnecessary embarrassment and stress of contesting for the Senate seat against the renowned performer like Senator Jaribe Agom Jaribe. The anti-narcotics Indian police in Pune city have apprehended a Nigerian couple in possession of cocaine and methadone worth over rupees 1.2 crore, approximately over 62 million naira. The duo Iyi Ochuku Emmanuel and Enebeli Omama Vivian were arrested in a residential society. Banner and the drug caught with them were seized by the anti-narcotics operatives. According to Times of India, detectives from the anti-narcotics cell received an intelligence about suspected drugs criminals in Banner. After the primary investigation, a coordinated raid was launched in an upmarket residential society on Tuesday morning, where the two suspects lived. In the raid, police allegedly seized 664 grams of methadone, also known as Mil, valued at rupees 96 crore in international markets, and 201 grams of cocaine worth more than rupees 30 lakh. Fresh batch of 1,507 new lawyers were called to bar amid tight security provided by various security agencies in the country. The new wigs and gowns were inaugurated at the Body of Benches complex in Jabi district of Abuja as against the Nigerian Law School premises in Buhari. Director General of the Law School, Professor Isa Yahatu Chiroma, revealed that the graduation ceremony had to be hurriedly shifted from the traditional place to the Body of Benches complex due to threats by terrorists and bandits to launch attack against the famous law school. The Law School Director General thanks the Chief of Defense Staff, Chief of Army, Inspector General of Police, Director General of State Service, DSS, Civil Defense Commandant, and Federal Road Safety Corps, FRC, for jointly coming to the rescue of the school by providing adequate security and wise security counseling. He said the graduates have been found worthy in character and in academics, hence their induction into the Nigerian bar as full-fledged lawyers. Addressing the new lawyers, legal luminary and chairman of the Body of Benches, Wole Olani Pekun, charged them to be prepared to serve the country and humanity diligently without fear or favor. President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed commitment to deepen democracy in the country and set a right example for the rest of Africa by ensuring free, fair and credible elections in 2023. Buhari made the statement in Abuja at the 16th edition of the Nigerian National Diaspora Day Celebration 2022 and purports to be hosted by Nigerians in the Diaspora Commission. Speaking in an interview on ATN's Open Conversation on Wednesday, a political scientist, Dr. Ikiri Joe Abraham, reacts.
Yes, seen from what is on ground, Nigeria seems to be awakened by the fact that a free, fair and transparent election is the panacea to development. And of course, when you reflect on these concepts, you will trace it back to one fundamental issue. And that issue is what? Democracy, which was imposed on us. What kind of democracy is that? Liberal democracy, as against social democracy. In other words, capitalist democracy as against socialist democracy. And what does that mean? Yes, in liberal democracy, which is the strongholds of the West, yeah, development is tied to democracy. And the kind of democracy is, yes, you make the people participate. It must be participatory, free press, and the judiciary, and all that. Now, when you now come to the point of economic participation, all those democratization processes should lead to economic production. And now when you now say distribute those economic, so that as people participated in bringing about the democracy, they will also benefit from the economic product of the liberal Democrats. Will bring the 5 fingers for you and tell you that, you see your fingers, are they equal? Therefore, that is how the economic distribution will not be equal. Let those who have the opportunities and the capabilities begin to gain, while those who may not recede. That is the product. And that is what people are not made to know. This democracy, so far as, or capitalist democracy, so far as we practice it, we continue to engender the corruption, inequality, economic problems, privatization, and all that. You know that democracy started from Greece, and he said every person is all participatory team. Those who, by their age or capacity, can contribute, suggest, and all that, and it is always done. But now, America and the West changed that to representative democracy. So it is not as original as that of Greece. Now, from the representative democracy, we now came to liberal democracy. And all the characterization or all the features which I've mentioned here are the character of a liberal democracy, otherwise called capitalist democracy. So,
presidential candidate of the African Action Congress, AAC, Omoyele Sowore, revealed that former Vice President Atiku Abubakar used to send him documents to fight his former boss, President Olusegun Obasanjo, when they were in office. Reacting to this in an interview on Atlantic Television Network, a public affairs analyst, Dr. Ibitiru Pepo, said the circumstance is a matter of ethics. Speaking further, the analyst said a professional journalist has acclaimed Omoyele Sowore shouldn't have divulged the information revealed to him by Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. Ibitiru Pepo also added that the human rights activist Omoyele Sowore should be quizzed by the National Security Agency to give further revelations of information he is aware of.
Ethics. Now, when you're looking at ethical issues, they are much more than you look. Now, Sowore wasn't a journalist and hasn't been a journalist. The fact that you own a platform doesn't make you a journalist. Now, anybody, by the Constitution of Nigeria, Section 39, it enables you, it tells you that anybody, both a carpenter, whoever, can own a medium. Are you getting it? It could be newspaper, it could be any medium of mass communication. But that doesn't confer on you the status of being a journalist. In squeezed, yes, he will be able to reveal more, because these persons are just holding Nigeria hostage. It means that they are playing with Nigeria and Nigerians. When you have so many things, it's like a husband and a wife having problems, and you come back to when you are quarreling, you come to the public domain to wash your dirty linens. At this point, and it tells you the kind of people we have in the public sphere who tends to rule Nigeria, and that brings us to the same cajole that we are getting from the APC government that wasn't ever prepared from the beginning. You know that the APC is a government of a kind of an unholy union.
The Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, on Tuesday began its 3-day nationwide warning protest in solidarity with the Academic Staff Union of University, ASU, in the ongoing strike by the academic staff workers against President Muhammadu Buhari-led federal government. Speaking in an interview on ATN Society Watch, a lecturer at the Department of English and Literary Studies, University of Port Harcourt, Ene Eric Ibifa, said there has been a slump in national revenue. Eric Ibifa also entreated the government to strategize a sustainable system, become judicious in expenditures.
So we have to come up with a sustainable system. I mean, recovered loads are a one-off, and you get them once in a while, possibly. So we need a system that is sustainable. I think what he really meant was that the government should plug the leakages in the system. And frankly, I mean, I've thought about it. It's true that the world is going through a perilous time economically. I mean, there is the pandemic, the world is recovering, and nations are recovering at different rates depending on their, able to plug some of the leakages in the system. We'll be able to get enough money conserved to tackle issues that are critical to the well-being of this country. Issues like education, for example, particularly that indeed there has been a depletion of government sources of revenue. I mean, and the reasons are already sufficiently well known, so there is no point detailing ourselves about those. But I'm saying that even at that if we can, plan appropriately, if we can be prudent, if we can be judicious, if we can, prioritize appropriately. This is just one instance of inappropriate prioritization. I mean, how can you think of renovating the National Assembly complex with $30 billion $100. Oh yeah, now there you go. My thinking is that even at the parlous state the naira is at today, with 30 billion naira, you could possibly put up a structure the size of the National Assembly complex twice over. So, and ask those people who are voting these humongous sums of money for renovation of the National Assembly complex, so that they will put that kind of money, if it were coming from their own private pockets, into that kind of venture. So we have a situation where people see public office as an avenue for self-enrichment, and so they don't bring the kind of prudence, the kind of judiciousness you see in the management of their own personal funds. They don't bring it into the management of public funds, and that's really tragic. So I'm not making any excuses, but we really have to be mindful of the fact that there has been a little slump in government revenue. Nobody's disputing that. But even at that, even with the present state of government revenue, if we are able to manage our resources with a little more care, with a little more prudence, we're able to take care of all of our,
The police in Abia State have confirmed the attack on a bullion van conveying cash from a new generation bank in Abia to Umuahia. Police Public Relations Officer, Abia State Command, SP Geoffrey Obona, said the robbers barricaded the Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway, where they laid ambush waiting for the bullion van. On sighting the bullion and escort team, the robbers fired at them, making the driver of the van to swerve into the bush. In an effort to escape, the yet-to-be-identified official of the bank who was escorting the cash and one of the robbers were killed on the spot, even as 3 police officers were injured. In its recent data, the United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund, UNICEF, pegged Nigerians' out-of-school children to 18.5 million. But the federal government has said it plans to reduce out-of-school children by 70%. This means that the federal government plans to take 12 million children back to school. 70% of the 18.5 million accounts for 12.6 million children. This was, however, disclosed by the Senior Special Advisor to the Vice President on Economic Matters, Yoshola Akimbi, in a virtual interview with newsmen. According to her, out-of-school children remain one of the focus points of the federal government, adding that they plan to cut it down by 70%. She said the out-of-school children in Nigeria is one of the things we are focusing on, and the vision that we have in terms of target is for us to see how we are going to reduce the out-of-school children by at least 70%. A high court of the Federal Capital Territory sitting at Maitama on Wednesday deferred its ruling on an application seeking the release of former Accountant General of the Federation, AGF, Ahmed Idris, on bail till Thursday. Idris, who was remanded in prison custody last Friday, is facing trial over his alleged complicity in the illegal diversion of public funds to the tune of about 109.4 billion naira. He is answering to a 14-count charge the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, prepared against him and 3 others. The Senate on Wednesday said it would summon the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, over inflation and naira deflation, which had led Nigerians to more hardship. The senators lamented that the United States dollar to naira had now risen to 700 naira, which was very sad and calls for immediate attention. You are still watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. Up next, entertainment stories. Nigerian international sensation Tems has earned an MTV Video Music Awards nomination for Best Hip Hop Video for her contributions to Future's Wait For You. The single is one of the songs on Future's 9th solo studio album, I Never Liked You, and it's featured Drake and also samples vocals from Tems, Higher. Filmmaker Olatunbosun Amao has unveiled chilling first-look stills at Troublous Weekend, his feature film directorial debut. The first images tease AMVCA winning actors Stan Nze and Anthony Monjaro as stars, and the plot centered on their character coming face-to-face with the dangers lurking in the dark. The former president of the United States, Barack Obama, listed 4 Nigerian stars, Tems, Burna Boy, Fields, BNXN, in his 2022 summer playlist. Obama shared the playlist on his Instagram platform on Tuesday, July 26th. Every year, I get excited to share my summer playlist because I learn about so many new artists from your replies. It's an example of how music really can bring us all together. Here's what I've been listening to this summer. What songs would you add? Obama wrote. Every year, Obama compiles a list of some of his favorite songs around the world. Nigerian long jumper Ese Brume on Wednesday said she would be targeting a gold medal in her next competition. Atlantic Television Network reports that Brume produced her biggest jump of the year in Oregon, USA, to become the first Nigerian athlete to win medals at 2 World Athletics Championships. She won the silver medal in Oregon, an upgrade to the bronze she won in Doha in 2019. The Olympic bronze medalist leaped 7.02 meters and finished behind Germany's Olympic champion Malaika Mihambo, who leaped 7.12 meters, and Brazil's Leticia Oromelo jumped 6.89 meters to take bronze. And that's the global news for tonight. Before we go, another look at the major stories. Human rights activist Enibehe Effiong sentenced to prison. Be wary of faceless security guards, says NSCDC. Lawmakers threatens President Buhari with impeachment. No candidate violated law on multiple forms, says INEC. Senate to invite Emefiele over Naira devaluation. Burna Boy, Tems, others listed in Obama's 2022 summer playlist. Brume sets gold medal target after Oregon's feat. I am Anita Obari. Thank you for watching. You can follow us on our social media platforms, Twitter at Atlantic TV Net, Facebook and YouTube is at Atlantic Television Network, Instagram at Atlantic TV Network. Do remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress.
It's the people making the difference in our time on ATN Icons. Here, we present you legends celebrated for their heroism in different fields and serve as role models today. ATN Icons, showing every Sunday 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Atlantic Television Network, StarTimes DTH channel 194, ATN Live on Google App Store, Facebook Atlantic Television Network, YouTube Atlantic Television Network, Instagram Atlantic TV Network, Twitter Atlantic TV Network. For sponsorship 0810-634-177. ATN Icons, celebrating the giants of our time.